Don't toss that old suitcase before you see this. I'm selecting an old suitcase that has a perfectly flat bottom. Using a soapy dishcloth, I'm giving the suitcase a good clean inside and out. Laying down some paper, I'm placing the suitcase on top to prepare it for painting. Choosing a white tone, I'm painting the entire outside of the suitcase, including the hardware, so it will have a cohesive look. Using a Lazy Susan makes painting all the different sides much easier. Since the suitcase requires 2 coats, I'm now choosing a slightly warmer white called Raw Silk by Fusion Mineral Paint for the second coat, so it chimes in better with my vintage vibe I'm going for. To add some vintage detailing, I'm marking the middle of the top of the suitcase, then doubling up some thick painter's tape to create a thick middle stripe. Adding several rows of thinner tape on both sides, I'm now removing the pieces of tape where I wish to paint some stripes. I'm also taping the front and the back of the suitcase while working around the hardware. Reaching for the suitcase base color, I'm painting along the tape edges to help seal the tape to reduce paint bleed. Once dry, I'm now choosing a deep teal paint color that ties in with the inside fabric color. For the 2 remaining stripes, I'm painting them in Algonquin, which is a lovely tan to add some warmth. I'm painting one section at a time, then removing the masking tape while the paint is still wet, which helps further reduce paint bleed. Now opening the suitcase, I'm taking inside measurements of the height and width, then transferring that to some bulletin board so I can score it down to size. Flipping the bulletin board good side down onto some burlap, I'm cutting around the board, leaving some overlap. Then stapling the burlap to the board and finally attaching Velcro to the back. To give the board a more finished look, I'm cutting some cedar strips to the size of the board, then hot gluing them around the outside to create a frame. I am also using 3 cedar strips to fit inside the suitcase lid. After attaching Velcro to the backs, I'm measuring, then screwing small cup hooks into the strips. To create a shelf, one mid-sized board is being cut to fit inside the suitcase. I'm penciling the sides of the suitcase where the board placement is, then pre-drilling and screwing the boards to the suitcase sides. I'm attaching the suitcase to the wall with 1 screw, adjusting the level, then adding more screws to further secure it. The bulletin board is being stuck to the inside above the shelf. To install the hooks, I'm using a level along the top of the boards, then attaching them to the sides with Velcro. Then reaching for some keys and office supplies, I'm loading up the suitcase to create a cute and compact writing station. With the lid closed, my cute suitcase cabinet looks neat and tidy, as if it's a piece of vintage wall art that matches the tones of the dresser perfectly. Then once open, I have all the necessities a writing station needs.
For the base of the table, you'll need a laundry basket, rope, a hot glue gun, and glue sticks. Start at one end and wrap the rope around the basket, gluing as you go. Continue until you have the entire basket covered with the rope. While I like the texture of the rope, its natural color doesn't exactly match my decor. To fix this, I'm brushing on a wood stain. This dark gray tint will also complement my tabletop design. For the tabletop, you'll need a piece of wood wider than the top of your basket. I'm using a 2-foot square piece of plywood that I chopped the corners off of to make an octagon, but you can also use an off-the-shelf wood circle or square. Using the measuring tape, find dead center of your tabletop. Mark with the pencil. Find a picture or design you want for your tabletop and print it out using a laser printer and standard paper. If your picture or design is larger than 1 printed page, tape them together on the back of the paper. Ensure that the tape does not sit over any part of the toner. Cut away any extra white paper that doesn't have toner on it. Generously apply and brush the photo transfer medium onto the printed side of the paper. Since my design is busy and I want to make sure I didn't miss any spots, I'm adding some transfer medium to the tabletop as well. Use soap and water to clean up any oops spots, like that one I blooped on the floor. Carefully place your design face down and smooth and rub out any air bubbles. Now comes the hard part. Wait. The photo transfer medium needs at least 12 hours to dry and cure, so set it aside and find another project to work on. After you've waited at least 12 hours, you can start removing the paper. Spritz plain water onto the paper and using your fingers, carefully rub the surface in a circular motion. the paper will start to flake off and you can brush it away. Work carefully so you only remove the paper and not the toner. Allow to dry and respritz as needed where you see paper remaining. Continue rubbing and spritzing until all of the paper is gone. If you are transferring a black and white or grayscale picture and accidentally rub some of the toner off, you can fill it in with a colored pencil. Seal and protect your design with a spray clear coat. Finally, add a couple of handles. The side table is perfect for storing away throws, pillows, and other important items you want to keep nearby but out of sight.
I had the solid wood bookcase, but it was missing a leg and had some dents and dings. I didn't want to throw it away, so I decided to make something else. I began by removing all the decorative molding and the feet. Then I removed the back and used it as a template to cut a piece of MDF to size. This would be the top of my finished piece. I bought a piece of 2-inch solid foam, laid it on top of the MDF, and found the center. I then measured and marked 5 additional points on the foam. I used a screwdriver and a hammer to poke through the foam to mark the MDF. On those marks, I drilled holes through the MDF. I increased the size of the foam holes using a utility knife. The reason for the 2-inch foam is I was going to upholster the top. I laid out my fabric, then interfacing, then the foam, then the MDF. By simply folding the fabric onto the MDF and stapling it in place, the top was taking shape. I carefully folded the corners and cut off excess material so it wouldn't be too bulky. To attach buttons, I used a metal skewer and pushed it through the fabric so I knew where my holes were on the other side. Because I didn't have a long enough needle, I fashioned one out of a bamboo skewer, attaching the button on the end and then pulling it through the fabric and the foam. To tighten the buttons, I placed a small screw between the holes, wrapped the thread around the screw, and screwed it in tight. To finish, I stapled a piece of white material over the bottom. I screwed in a piano hinge to the edge so the top could attach to the bottom. To give the bookcase an upholstered look, I covered it with batting and then fabric and stapled it on 4 sides of the bookcase. I stained pre-made feet with a walnut stain. When the feet were dry, I attached them to the bottom of the bookcase. So in case you haven't guessed, I turned my bookcase into an upholstered storage ottoman. It holds dog toys, blankets, anything I want. My dogs love it. I hope you do too, and I hope this inspires you to make a storage ottoman for yourself.